Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are cracking open the absolute master vault of human self-control, behavioral neuroscience, and psychological sovereignty. Think about it for a second. How many times have you sat down at the beginning of a brand new year, or even just a Monday morning, and promised yourself that things were going to be completely different? You write down your goals, you commit to a clean diet, you swear you are going to finally build that side business. Or you promise to stop wasting hours mindlessly scrolling through digital feeds. But then, the evening arrives. You are tired. You had a stressful day at work. And suddenly, all that beautiful motivation completely evaporates. You find yourself reaching for the comfort food, hitting play on another streaming video, or putting off your dreams until tomorrow. The standard societal narrative tells us that when we fall off the wagon, it is because we are weak, lazy, or lack moral character. We beat ourselves up, experience a crushing wave of guilt, and assume that some people are just born with an iron will, while the rest of us are doomed to fail. But today, we are completely dismantling that destructive lie. We are doing a massive, deep dive storytelling breakdown of a masterpiece that approaches self-discipline not as a moral virtue, but as an exact biological science. The willpower instinct. How self-control works, why it matters, and what you can do to get more of it, by Stanford University psychologist Dr. Kelly McGonigal. This book is based on her wildly popular course, The Science of Willpower, and it blends cutting-edge neuroscience, economics, and psychology to reveal how our brains are actually wired. It turns out that willpower is not a magical character trait. It is a finite biological resource and a physical response that you can actively train, optimize, and strengthen, just like a muscle. Get incredibly comfortable. Grab a fresh notebook. Clear away all outside distractions. And let us discover the unspoken biological secrets of self-control, so you can permanently reclaim dominion over your attention, your habits, and your ultimate destiny. Part 1. The dual-core brain and the 3 powers of will. Let us begin our story by journeying directly into the landscape of human evolutionary biology. To master your willpower, you must first understand that your brain is not a single, unified entity that always wants what is best for you. Your brain is a complex, multi-layered survival system that is constantly caught in a fierce, silent civil war between 2 completely different eras of human evolution. Deep inside the ancient, primitive core of your brain lives the limbic system. This is your instinctual, automated survival engine that evolved hundreds of thousands of years ago. It operates entirely on immediate gratification, scanning your environment for instant rewards, avoiding immediate discomfort, and reacting to stress with a fight or flight response. To your primitive brain, a sugary donut, a casual purchase, or a high dopamine digital distraction looks like an essential survival resource that must be consumed immediately before it disappears. Directly behind your forehead, however, lives the newest advancement in human neuroarchitecture, the prefrontal cortex. This is the seat of your conscious awareness, your high-status logic, and your long-term vision. The prefrontal cortex is the part of your brain that remembers what you actually want over the long term. like physical health, financial freedom, or professional excellence. McGonigal explains that your prefrontal cortex manages your self-control through 3 distinct neural pathways, which she calls the 3 powers of will. The first power is I will power. This is the neurological capacity to say yes when every molecule in your body wants to say no. It is the ability to lace up your running shoes when it is freezing outside, or to keep typing a difficult report when you are completely exhausted. The second power is I won't power. This is the ability to say no to temptation. It is the braking system of the brain that stops you from clicking on a distracting notification, eating the junk food, or firing off an angry email that could ruin a professional partnership. The third and most critical power is I want power. This lives in the very center of your prefrontal cortex, and it is the ultimate memory bank of your long-term goals and values. It is the silent, unshakable reminder of who you truly want to become. When your I want power is crystal clear, it fuels your I will and I won't powers, giving you the cognitive strength to endure short-term discomfort in exchange for long-term sovereignty. Self-control is simply the art of keeping your prefrontal cortex in command of your primitive impulses. Part 2. The biological cost of choice and the willpower battery. Now that we map out the internal battlefield of the mind, let us look at a profound physiological reality that dictates your daily self-control capacity. Many people believe that willpower is an infinite mental concept that you can just call upon whenever you want. But modern neuroscience proves that willpower is anchored directly into your physical biology. It has a real, measurable metabolic cost. Every single time your prefrontal cortex steps in to make a difficult decision, manage stress, ignore a digital distraction, or force you to do a tedious task, it consumes a massive amount of physical energy in the form of glucose and oxygen. Because of this high metabolic demand, your willpower operates exactly like a biological battery. Every act of self-control drains that battery slightly throughout the day. Imagine your morning routine. You wake up with a fully charged willpower battery, but as you navigate your day, you perform dozens of microscopic acts of self-control that you don't even think about. You resist the urge to hit the snooze button. You force yourself to sit through a boring commute without losing your temper. You choose an unpleasant task on your work list over a casual chat with a colleague. You smile politely at a difficult client. Psychologists call this phenomenon ego depletion. By the time late afternoon or evening arrives, your biological willpower battery is running on absolute empty. Your prefrontal cortex is starved of energy, and its ability to control your primitive impulses drops completely off a cliff. This is exactly why most major dietary collapses, financial overspending, and high-stress arguments happen at night. Your brain is physically depleted, and it defaults entirely to its ancient, low-energy survival programming. To protect your world from this depletion, you must stop viewing self-control as a purely psychological battle and start managing it as a physical resource. McGonigal reveals that you can actively optimize your willpower battery through simple biological interventions. Getting high-quality sleep, eating a diet that maintains stable blood sugar levels, and spending just 5 minutes a day practicing deep, slow diaphragmatic breathing can significantly increase your heart rate variability. This metric serves as the ultimate physiological index of a resilient, fully charged willpower system. By fueling your body correctly, you hand your prefrontal cortex the literal physical energy it requires to keep your impulses locked down. Part 3. The Trap of Moral Licensing and the Illusion of Progress. Our story now moves into a fascinating psychological territory that exposes how our own minds actively trick us into breaking our good habits. Have you ever gone to the gym, smashed a high-intensity workout, and then immediately felt fully justified in eating a massive, calorie-heavy meal as a reward? Or perhaps you spent 3 hours working diligently on your business, and then felt entitled to spend the rest of the evening mindlessly playing video games. Dr. McGonigal calls this cognitive trap moral licensing. When we view our goals through a lens of morality, labeling good behaviors as virtues and bad behaviors as sins, something strange happens inside our subconscious mind. Whenever we do something good, we feel like a virtuous person. Because we feel so good about our progress, our primitive brain immediately demands a reward, asking for a temporary pass to engage in a little bit of bad behavior. Moral licensing completely blurs the boundary line between our true long-term desires and our short-term temptations. It causes us to view our healthy habits as a painful punishment we are enduring, and our destructive temptations as a beautiful treat we are earning. The moment you fall into this trap, you will find yourself constantly taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back, using your past discipline as a literal excuse to indulge in current self-sabotage. To break free from this paralyzing cognitive illusion, you must completely eliminate moral language from your personal development journey. Stop labeling your actions as good or bad. When you make progress on your goals, do not view it as a green light to indulge. Instead, treat that progress as an unshakable validation of your true identity. When you go to the gym or work on your career, don't tell yourself that you are being a good person. Tell yourself that you are actively stepping into your sovereign identity as an elite, high-performing individual. By shifting your mindset from earning rewards to reinforcing your identity, you take away your primitive mind's ability to license self-destructive behaviors, allowing your progress to compound naturally over time. Part 4. The Dopamine Illusion and the Promise of Happiness. Let us look at the brain's ultimate neurochemical weapon of mass distraction, the dopamine loop. For decades, popular culture completely misunderstood the role of dopamine, labeling it the chemical of pleasure, satisfaction, and joy. But neuroscience has revealed that dopamine is actually the neurochemical of anticipation, desire, and intense seeking behavior. When your brain encounters a cue that promises a potential reward, whether it is the scent of fast food, a flash of a sale sign at a store, or the literal ping of a notification on your smartphone, the reward center of your brain releases a massive wave of dopamine. This chemical surge does not actually make you feel happy or satisfied. Instead, it triggers a state of physiological arousal, intense curiosity, and a deep psychological craving. Dopamine places your entire nervous system under a high-stress spell, whispering a beautiful promise into your subconscious mind. If you perform this action right now, you will finally achieve absolute happiness and satisfaction. This promise of happiness is the ultimate trick used by behavioral engineers to hijack your focus for profit. When you scroll through social feeds or shop online, you are caught in an infinite loop of dopamine anticipation. Your brain keeps seeking the next piece of novelty, completely blind to the reality that the consumption itself never actually delivers the deep satisfaction that dopamine promised. To reclaim your focus, you must learn to step out of the loop by practicing conscious awareness. The next time you experience an intense, impulsive urge to check your phone, open a random tab, or indulge in a temptation, pause and observe your physical body. Notice that the dopamine rush actually feels like high tension, a rapid heart rate, and an uncomfortable itch of restlessness. By realizing that temptation is just a biological promise of happiness that your brain cannot actually keep, you break the neurological spell. You gain the power to allow the wave of desire to crash and dissolve through your awareness without ever surrendering your actions to the impulse. Part 5. The what the hell effect and the power of self-compassion. Many people believe that the best way to maintain self-discipline is to act as a harsh, unyielding tyrant inside their own head. When they make a mistake, like breaking their diet, skipping a workout, or wasting an afternoon, they scream at themselves, using severe self-criticism, hoping that the emotional pain of shame will force them to do better next time. But the data revealed by McGonigal completely shatters this approach, introducing a dangerous behavioral spiral known as the what the hell effect. Imagine a person on a strict diet who accidentally eats a single slice of pizza at a business lunch. Instead of simply acknowledging the minor slip and moving on with their day, their inner tyrant kicks in, screaming, "You completely ruined everything. You have zero discipline. You are an absolute failure." This intense wave of shame, guilt, and self-hatred creates massive psychological stress inside the brain. And how does the primitive brain naturally cope with high emotional stress? It immediately seeks comfort from the fastest, highest dopamine reward available. The person thinks, well, since I already ruined my diet anyway, what the hell? I might as well eat the entire pizza, drink a soda, and start over next Monday. Self-criticism is not an engine of discipline. It is the ultimate driver of chronic self-sabotage. Shame paralyzes your prefrontal cortex, making you more vulnerable to temptation. The most viral, resilient performers are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who possess the secure confidence to practice radical self-compassion when they stumble. When you make a mistake, you must treat yourself exactly like a trusted mentor would treat an ambitious student. Acknowledge the failure with absolute, data-driven objectivity. Remind yourself that slipping up is a normal part of the human learning experience, and immediately forgive yourself. By replacing stress-inducing shame with calming self-compassion, you lower the cortisol levels in your brain, protect your prefrontal cortex from overload, and easily step back into your sovereign frame of focus without skipping a single beat. Part 6. Hyperbolic Discounting and the Art of Future Empathy. Our story now shifts into the domain of behavioral economics to explore why we constantly make choices in the present moment that completely ruin our future happiness. Economists call this cognitive distortion hyperbolic discounting, or the psychological phenomenon of delay discounting. Human beings are hardwired to overvalue immediate, short-term rewards and drastically undervalue delayed, long-term rewards. To your primitive brain, a small reward sitting right in front of your face right now looks vastly superior to a massive, life-changing reward that lives 6 months or 5 years in the distant future. When you plan your goals for the future, you are operating from your logical prefrontal cortex, which easily sees that financial freedom is better than a cheap purchase. But when the temptation is present in the moment, the primitive brain warps your perception, making the short-term indulgence look like the only thing that matters. Neuroscientists have discovered a fascinating underlying reason for this distortion. When we think about our future selves, our brain patterns look identical to the patterns that fire when we think about complete strangers. When you leave a massive mountain of work for tomorrow, or when you run up debt today, your brain treats that future version of you as an entirely different person who will have to handle the consequences. You are literally offloading your pain onto a stranger. To defeat this hyperbolic warp, you must master the art of deliberate future empathy. You must actively bridge the neurological gap between your current self and your future self. The book recommends practicing vivid mental visualization exercises where you close your eyes and imagine your future self in explicit detail. Imagine how that future version of you will feel 6 months from now if you choose to indulge in lazy habits today. Feel their stress, their exhaustion, and their regret. Conversely, imagine the immense gratitude, pride, and peace they will experience if you have the unshakable courage to execute your discipline right now. By transforming your future self from a distant stranger into a deeply loved, real human being, you naturally eliminate the desire to sell out your future for a temporary moment of cheap comfort. Part 7. The Social Contagion of Willpower and Group Mechanics. Let us look at an invisible force that dictates your personal habits every single day without you ever realizing it. The hidden dynamics of social contagion. We like to think that our habits, choices, and self-control are entirely independent products of our personal free will. But epidemiological and psychological research proves that willpower, or the complete lack thereof, spreads through human networks exactly like a biological virus. If a close friend, family member, or colleague in your primary social circle adopts a lifestyle of chronic overeating, high spending, or constant procrastination, your personal probability of sliding into those exact same behaviors shoots up by a staggering percentage. This happens because human brains are equipped with a powerful network of mirror neurons designed to help us adapt and blend into our social tribe for safety. When you watch the people around you indulge in short-term temptations without experiencing any social consequence, your brain naturally recalibrates its definition of normal behavior. It whispers to your prefrontal cortex that it is completely acceptable to lower your personal standards because everyone else is doing it. Your environment can either act as a toxic drag on your performance or serve as a high-velocity launchpad for your dreams. To secure your sovereignty, you must treat your social circle as a highly calculated piece of psychological engineering. Stop hanging out with individuals who celebrate your lowest impulses, comfort your excuses, and normalize mediocrity. Actively put yourself into high-status masterminds, professional groups, and social environments where extreme discipline, physical health, and financial execution are the baseline requirements for admission. When you surround yourself with individuals who view waking up early, working on their craft, and protecting their attention as normal daily routines, your mirror neurons work in your favor. You naturally absorb their high-velocity willpower habits without requiring any painful internal struggle. You leverage the ancient tribe mechanics of the human brain to make elite performance your effortless, automated reality. Part 8. The Roadmap to Eternal Personal Sovereignty. As our epic storytelling journey through the profound science of Kelly McGonigal reaches its grand conclusion, let us stand back and look at the entire architectural blueprint of your newly engineered mind. Remember this ultimate, unshakable truth. Self-control is not a performance you put on to impress society. It is the absolute foundation of your freedom, wealth, and creative impact. Stop letting your primitive instincts, your dopamine loops, and the distracting noise of modern culture hijack your limited attention span. Stop viewing your discipline as a moral punishment and permanently retire the inner critic that uses shame to lock you into loops of self-sabotage. Step into your authentic personal sovereignty today. Re-engineer your brain by recognizing the 3 powers of will and keeping your long-term values crystal clear. Optimize your physical biology through slow breathing and stable nutrition to maximize your baseline heart rate variability. Smash the cognitive traps of moral licensing by anchoring your habits into your highest identity, and break the dopamine loops by observing your cravings with calm, objective detachment. Practice radical self-compassion whenever you slip up to bounce back with absolute speed. Build intense empathy for your future self to eliminate present-moment procrastination, and intentionally curate your social circle to align with elite execution. When you master the exact biological science of the willpower instinct, you permanently exit the matrix of distraction and struggle. The illusions of confusion and chronic self-doubt will fall away entirely from your reality. You will command absolute clarity over your career trajectory. Unlock an infinite capacity for financial and creative output. Protect your limited time on Earth from the parasites of modern novelty, and discover that your life has transformed into a magnificent, powerful beacon of relentless momentum, unshakable discipline, and lasting global success. What is the #1 willpower strategy from this neurological masterclass? Whether it is managing your biological battery through deep breathing, replacing self-criticism with self-compassion to beat the what the hell effect, or visualizing your future self to crush present-moment procrastination that you are going to commit to practicing in your life today. Let me know your discipline and transformation goals in the comments down below. If this deep dive summary completely re-engineered your approach to self-discipline and handed you an elite architectural playbook for human charisma and focus, show some massive love by clicking that like button. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss another profound psychological, business, or high-performance book breakdown. And share this video with a colleague who wants to elevate their lifestyle presence today. Manage your biology, forgive your slips, protect your long-term vision, and I will see you in the next video.